Hello ladies, welcome back to another episode of the Her Expert Interviews. Today we have a lovely guest all the way from Prudential. Her name is Rachel and I don't want to preempt her, so I'm going to leave her to give her time to introduce herself because she has amazing, awesome information to share with us. Before I continue, I would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified whenever we post or upload a new video. This month, we are talking about people management, and over to you, Rachel.
Thank you very much, Charity. My name is Rachel Musima Senyondo, and I'm privileged to be with us today as we talk about people management. But before we proceed, allow me to introduce myself. I serve at Prudential in the affluent markets, and professionally, I'm a chartered marketer with the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK, and I have over a decade of experience managing people and teams.
Wow. That's how you know that we have really brought you an expert. If she has a decade of experience, no, you're not going to find anyone better than that. Trust. Thank you so much, Rachel, for that well-elaborate introduction of yourself. I believe everyone that has had that has been wowed and impressed by your, wealth of experience that you have in people management. What does people management mean to you? When someone says people, what does it mean in simple terms?
Okay, being a professional marketer, when it comes to the aspect of people, we know that they are the foundation of any business.
Yeah.
Without proper talent in the right places, then all businesses are going to die. So it's very important that as we lead teams, we focus on the productivity of our teams.
Yeah.
So when we're speaking about people management, we are speaking about, do we have the right people doing the right jobs? Do we have the right talent? Do we have the right culture? So it's very, very important that we understand that people management is a holistic discipline as opposed to just one component of what many people try to think it is.
So as leaders, or in specific women in business, how can we cultivate excellence in people that we manage? Or how have you been able to do that, since you mentioned that you have a decade, of experience in people management?
Well, speaking into that question, we need to understand what excellence means.
Exactly.
It means different things to different people. But where you have a metrics for excellence, it all starts from the goals set. So if you're speaking in the aspect of people, we must be very clear about the deliverables that we expect from these people.
Yeah.
For example, like I said, I've been privileged to lead, team lead sales people. These are people who earn commissions and not salaries. So that means these people can wake up in the morning and tell you, I'm not coming to work.
Yeah, but those are very difficult people to motivate.
I'm not on your payroll. And I'm very sure that our audience has had some of these comments. So to effectively manage such teams, you need to agree on the deliverables right at the start. So definitely if you have smart set goals, then you have to weight the result against the goal.
Yeah.
And as women in business, we need to cease from emotional discussions.
What does that mean?
That basically means that we need to discuss data. If we agreed that we are going to achieve A, B, C, the conversation then should center around the set goals. So there in the discussion is where you find out where the gaps or areas of improvement are. So when we speak about effective management of people and getting desired results or goals, it's not an aspect of she has failed. It should be a conversation of we set to achieve A, B, C, but you have not achieved B, but you've achieved A. So then how can we close the gap for what you have not achieved?
Exactly.
So in closing the gap, we build effectiveness. And that's where many businesses get it wrong. At a time of now, number two, after setting goals, they have matrices or what we call appraisals. From a marketing perspective, I strongly recommend the balanced scorecard.
What does that mean?
It looks at every facet of the business. It looks at people, it looks at processes, it looks at revenue, it looks at learning and growth.
Yeah.
And yet very many businesses today are only focusing on the revenue aspect. And you find that you'll have an excellent A performer, but their culture is wanting. That's not a sustainable person to build business with.
Yeah.
So as we're building effective teams, the starting point is setting smart goals.
Okay.
But the SMART goals are not to dim the individual's lights, but rather to find out the areas of improvement that they can work on, that they can be effective. I would rather go with a person who is willing to improve than someone who thinks they know it all.
Yeah.
Then number two, you give them a tool to measure what you said they were supposed to achieve. And that's the balance scorecard. So the findings they read then will propel the business to know that, you know what, we need to put more revenue, maybe in learning and growth. We need to put more focus on the customer that focuses on customer centricity. Last but not least, we need to look at what we call the employee cycle. In effectively managing people, you need to understand, like a child grows.
Yeah.
You know, when a child is born, they crawl, they walk, they run. So it's the same thing when people start to work for businesses.
Yeah.
You don't expect them to stay at the same place. So relating to the marketing specialty or discipline is like the product life cycle. They enter at introduction, they grow, they reach the peak, and if nothing is done at the peak, then they'll exit the company. So to effectively manage people, you need to look into where they want to go as individuals. So as you're achieving the business set objectives, you need to focus on retention. And as a business, how you keep this person delivering what you desire them to do, you're also speaking into where they want to go. I've seen people doing a teller job for the last 20 years. Last 15 years. And this is where organizations get it wrong. That the life cycle is going to speak otherwise. That this person is very good at their job, but they reach a point and they're exhausted. So all those are gaps in effective people management that organizations need to look into. And they need to understand that as someone enters your business, think about the day they exit. So this person is not going to be with you forever. So you need to think about how can they stay longer with me. That's where we get effectiveness. So we need to move away from just the revenue and move into other people aspects that are going to develop them. Like at Prudential, you notice that we have seasoned agents. We actually care that they go to the Insurance Technical College to study, where I'm also privileged to consult in the discipline of marketing. I actually team lead the advanced diploma in terms of digital marketing. So we send them there to study because we have seen they have a passion for knowledge. So as you pay their tuition to study, they're achieving your goals, but they're also achieving their goals.
They're growing in a way.
Exactly. So what does this mean for the business? It makes us market leader. No wonder we're market leaders.
Of course.
Because achieving my goals, achieving the business goals, then effectiveness comes.
Exactly.
So that's what businesses should be looking at.
I once had a friend who told me that she's working upwards, not outwards.
Exactly.
But I don't know if you understand what that means, but according to her explanation, that she was trying to say that when she was, put in this job, she's looking towards accelerating. Like if she was maybe a salesperson, now maybe she's like head of sales, then she'll be this, then like she's working upwards, versus someone who would be working outwards, meaning you're just working to gain experience and then hit when the next best thing comes, bye. So how do you deal with such people? Because as an employer, you'd never know. It's not written on someone's file that I'm here for just 2 years to get my experience, then I go to the next best thing. Like, how do you deal with such people? Because I feel like many people who are in business and who employ people face that challenge. So how do you deal with that?
We need to understand that you and I also subscribe to that school of thought. We all do. When you enter an organization, it's very important to know that there's what we call the short-term goals and the long-term goals. Now, the short-term goals, based on industry practice, someone can only be at that particular job for 3 years. Just like any of us, we need to understand that when you enter into these organizations, there are short-term goals and long-term goals. So based on the years of practice, we can all ascribe to the school of thought that you don't want to do that particular job for more than 3 years. So as employers, we also need to be fair and understand. We need to be empathetic that you will not keep me at that job for 3 years with nothing that speaks into where I want to go.
Yeah.
What does this mean for the business? It's a destination conversation. If organization and businesses can understand that retention of upward and not outward is a destination conversation, then their retention levels of the people who work for them would be higher. And that would really mean invest in your teams. It's from investment that they'll appreciate you and stay with you.
Yeah, good that you've come to that point of invest in your teams. Rachel, as a team lead with 1,000 years of experience, could you share with us some of the strategies you would suggest of motivating team members?
Motivation without discipline is unwanted, and it can lead to undesired results. So I cannot speak about motivation without values. So for me to speak about the incentives that I use to drive, or that we use to drive excellence and productivity, they must be coupled up with a behavioral aspect, which is discipline. And discipline means that you're doing what you're supposed to do at the right time and in the right place and with the right people. So one of the things you can do is, like I said, we need to move to destination conversations.
Yeah.
So excellence, for example, at Prudential, you notice that this year for the World Experts, which is the $1 Million Roundtable, they will be in Beijing, China. Our expert team was in the Philippines. Next year, they'll be going to Santorini, Greece. So what destination conversations are you having with your teams? Move away from the little monies you're giving me, a little millions. That can't be sustainable.
Yeah.
Speak to me about a destination, and you'll have me glued with your organization for life.
So I'm interested to know, what do you mean by destination? Because before, when you say destination, in my head, I got the impression of it's where the employee wants to be. Maybe if you asked me, Charity, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I would tell you I want to be this. Maybe I want to get a master's or a PhD. But then when you answered the previous question, you mentioned trips, going to Beijing. So I'm like, now I'm confused. What do you mean by destination?
Exposure is power. You need to reach a point and understand that when you travel the world, you learn different aspects of doing life and doing discipline and different cultures that can make you a better person, right?
That's
so
true.
When you speak into the aspect of destination, it's multifaceted.
Yeah.
It can speak into an incentive of a trip, which I have talked about. It can speak into of you will enter as a team leader, rise through as a manager or a supervisor, manager, a director, and you'll have a franchise. That's what we call destination conversations. It's what you said, upward conversations.
Working upwards.
Working upwards. I've been in Uganda all my life.
Yeah.
What would push me to get the 20 billion that you want me to get for you as a business? Put me on a plane.
Okay, girl. I don't know, your supervisor on Prudential, I don't know. They should be listening to this conversation. Put Rachel on a plane. Our last question would be, how does communication? I feel like it cuts across so many things in life, be it relationship, be it family, whatever. And I'm 100% sure that communication still plays a very big role in people management, in unleashing excellence within teams. So briefly, could you explain to us how effective communication, what role does it play in, unleashing excellence within teams?
I cannot speak about certain disciplines without explaining to you what exactly communication is or what certain disciplines mean in this discussion, and break the fallacy that people may think these are truths and yet they are not. Communication, many times people think it is upward, downward. I have communicated. I told them to sweep the classroom. No, communication is two-way traffic. You speak to me, I give you feedback. So effective communication is the glue that runs profitability, retention, and revenue.
Exactly.
Whereby you are having an open discussion with your team. You're very clear about your mission. You're clear about your vision. You're clear about your values and your culture. And then you allow your teams to speak back. They say, I'm not happy about this. And now I want to briefly bring in an aspect that is affecting many women businesses. when a goal is not met, and you want to suspend somebody, have you listened to the aspects around the non-achievement? So that's what communication is about, effective communication. And this effective communication, while I wrap this up nicely for us, is either verbal, written. Some of us write emails and we can discern the entire emotions on the mail. Please use artificial intelligence if you're really mad about an aspect that your communication online on your email can speak into who you are. So effective communication ideally is a very strong aspect of personal branding, corporate branding, and it should be embraced by every organization if they want to have long sustainable businesses.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for this amazing, I really wish we had more time to go deeper into this conversation, because you're quite engaging, you're quite interesting, your voice is so captivating, and I'm sure whoever has watched is just like, oh no, Charity, we need a part 2 of Rachel. But don't worry, I think Rachel, you'll see more of Rachel. I know we have something cooking, and I know you're going to see more of Rachel. So stay tuned, and like I said, ring that bell. Before we go, I just want to give Rachel the honors of sharing with you how you can reach her if she wants to be reached. If you want to reach Rachel, and I don't know if she has social media, LinkedIn, email, what, please just share so that they can get in touch with you.
Well, like I said in the beginning, I represent Prudential, and I represent Prudential with honor in the market. You can find me at George Courts Level 5, Wing A. And at LinkedIn, I'm Rachel Musima Senyondo. Instagram, definitely where all the life is. You need to see that I am also professional and also have a social life. Find me on Instagram at Rachel Musima Senyondo.
Culture is the way things are done in an organization, set of beliefs and values that are held by people in an organization.